Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Friday, April the 11th, 2025. And just thought I'd give you a bit of a look at our view this morning. This is actually Mount Macedon in Victoria. And this is this time of year with all the cherry blossoms and all that. This is called Honour Avenue, what you just saw there. And this time of year, they just, they blossom. And it attracts thousands of visitors every weekend, to the point they have to shut that road off, and they've actually got food bans and everything down there. That's how popular it's got. It gets a little bit testy being a resident. We just live around the corner, and yeah, you do get a lot of people that like to park on nature strips and just walk out in the middle of the road. But anyway, it brings tourists to the area anyway, and puts us on the map. So that is Honour Avenue. All right, so on this day, back in April, or on April 11th, oops, sorry buddy, just stepped on his lead there. In 1964, this was in Puerto Rico. Carlos Ortiz defended his WBC lightweight title with a win over, who was it? American Kenny Lane. That was 1964. 1974, Japanese Ishimatsu Suzuki beat Mexican Rodolfo Gonzalez in 8 rounds for the WBC lightweight title. In 1981, Larry Holmes, the Eastern Assassin, defeated Trevor Berbick over 15 rounds in defense of his WBC heavyweight title. In 1991, Mexico's Marcos Villasana, remember him coming to Australia and fighting Jeff Fenech. He knocked out Colombian Rafael Zuniga in 6 rounds for the WBC featherweight title. That was in Mexico City. That was the same bout he actually fought Jeff Fenech for 2 years earlier. And in 2015, Mexico's Pedro Guevara knocked out Filipino Richard Claveres in the first round to defend his WBC light flyweight title. So that was on this day over the course of history. And it's good, there's always seems to be a few different things that happen each day, and hope you enjoy just getting a little bit of a history lesson anyway. All right, so yesterday the big news well, let's not say all fight fans, because it was a women's fight that was sort of being officially announced, and that was the Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, number 3, the trilogy. And it's actually pretty unusual that a fighter will get beaten twice and then get a third opportunity, but it's going to happen. Look, probably for the first time I've seen Katie Taylor get a little bit testy, let's just say. Amanda Serrano, they did the face-off and she wore a head guard. Pretty good stuff from Amanda Serrano, I think. Because it has been, pretty much tame in the first 2 fights. I've had a few things gone each way, but overall it's been pretty tame. And I think that, there's a couple of things that happened. First of all, there was that one, Amanda Serrano really jibing Katie Taylor, which I thought was good. But also Katie Taylor having to defend not having the fight as a 12 by 3 minute round fight. Now, apparently Amanda Serrano said that after the second fight, I think it was, that they would do it a third time, but it will be over 12 3-minute rounds. And Katie Taylor sort of responded by saying, well, you're saying if it's 12 by 3s, it creates more knockouts and everything else, but the 12 3-minute round fights you've actually had, you haven't scored a knockout against pretty inferior opposition. So it went back and forth, and as I said, it was probably the first time I've seen Katie Taylor just get a little bit pissed and retaliated Amanda Serrano. But when they actually got up to face off and she had the head guard on, I thought it was quite funny. And probably pretty appropriate, really, because, I mean, that second fight, and even the first fight as well, but especially that second fight, I mean, I cannot believe that Katie Taylor wasn't deducted points, if not disqualified, just for the constant use of the head. I mean, it's just a 1-2 headbutt, isn't it, with Katie Taylor? And I'm not sort of taking anything away from her as a fighter. She's been a great fighter and a great sort of role model for women's boxing over the journey. But I mean, you got to sort of call it the way it is, and there's no way that she shouldn't have got away without a point. Although, did she have a point taken off? I can't remember. I don't think she did. But either way, thought it was funny that Amanda Serrano had the head guard on. So they're going to fight. What is it? July. I think it is July something. I didn't even take any notes. I thought I wouldn't think I would doing these videos, but I didn't. So it's going to be on Netflix. Morning. which will be great. So number 3, Serrano and Taylor. So yeah, looking forward to it. I know a lot of women's boxing isn't for everyone. I'm going to have to look up that date. It's July something. It might be July 11th from memory. Anyway, whatever it is, it's in July. But I think it's great for women's boxing. The first 2 fights were probably 2 of the best female fights that I've ever seen. And I know women's boxing isn't for everyone, but I think this is, especially considering it's free, make sure you tune in. There's actually 2 other female world title fights on the undercard. I think one of them is Ali Scottney, who beat our own Shanika Johnson for her, I think, IBF belt a couple of years ago. And I can't remember who the other one was, but I think they're both unification fights. So if you're a female boxing fan or just a boxing fan in general and you want to support the girls, it is free again. Netflix, check it out. I, for one, will be watching. I think it'll be a ripper. And I think Katie Taylor should, well, I was going to say should get the job done again. I'm going to go for maybe that Serrano finally gets the fight go her way. And who knows, we might have number 4. We'll see. On to Aussie boxing. And just quickly, I saw an article yesterday about Michael Katsidis. Now, he's been in the news recently for not great reasons with his little feud with Team Kambosos, but they had an article on one of the websites and I read it and it sort of just gave me a little bit of new light about Michael Katsidis, because if you didn't know, obviously you probably do know him as a fighter, former interim WBO lightweight champion, had some great tussles over the years with, in England and the States, and especially that, I remember the one Manuel Marquez fight. He actually dropped Marquez, and this is only a few weeks after the death of his brother Stathi, I think his name, or Stathi, I think it was, who was a jockey. And, I think Michael, look, I didn't really know a lot of this either. Fell in on the hard times after he finished. Went to jail, I think, twice. He said that he didn't go a day without using drugs or alcohol, which is just astonishing. Went to jail, as I said, twice, and the I don't know whether it's fate, but he was telling a story about he was in jail. He was severely depressed, didn't know where he was going. He was at rock bottom. And if you didn't know, I was just getting back to that Marquez fight a few weeks early. His brother Strathi died of drug and alcohol abuse as well in the lead up to the Melbourne Cup. He did reveal that they'd been sexually assaulted as kids by a male babysitter. So that sort of didn't help at all, but they had a really rough life. But anyway, crescended into the death of his brother Stathi, and he was in a very, very dark place, sitting in jail, former interim champion with all those great fights behind him, and really contemplating whether it was all worth it. And there was a guard in jail who was giving him sort of the steely eye, and he's thinking, oh, all right, here we go. And he actually came over and introduced himself, and he said, you don't remember me, do you? And Michael Katsidis said, no, I don't. You probably forgive him for not remembering a guard in a prison, but apparently they met at the Mandalay Bay before one of Michael's fights. It might have even been the Marquez fight, and he was a fan of Michael Katsidis, and Michael actually asked him to write him a character reference to help him out and maybe start the way back. And he went away and he came back with a printout of Michael Katsidis' Wikipedia page with all his accomplishments on it, and said, there's a resume, now get yourself together and let's go. And he said that was a catalyst for him to clean himself up. He got out of jail, and he's working on programs to help other people that have been in similar situations, and said his life has really got purpose now. And I thought it was a good news story. I know we had the story a few weeks back with George Kambosos and particularly his dad, Jim, threatening to get him clipped or whatever it was. But, sometimes I suppose you don't know, and this is all aside from that, of course, but sometimes you just don't know what people go through. And it's a good news story. I just thought I'd bring it up because I read it and went, that's good. I mean, I've never met Michael. I know of him, obviously, but it's a good news story that what he went through and the heartache of losing his brother, and as a child with what happened to him, and going to prison and everything else, and now he's out doing really good things for the community. So well done to Michael Katsidis. Still on the Aussies. Could we have Justice Huni versus Joseph Parker? That is the question. Now, the WBO have released a statement saying that they have given Alexander Usyk a reprieve as far as demanding the mandatory against Joseph Parker. And I think originally they had given him 30 days or something to reach an agreement or else go to purse bids and all this sort of stuff. But they're actually giving him a reprieve until they work out what's happening with the Daniel Dubois fight. Because if you unify the title, you get exemption from obviously having to defend against your mandatory. And that's in process at the moment, working out what's going to go on with that. Now, if it all goes pear-shaped and they decide to strip Alexander Usyk, Joseph Parker is the interim champion and Justice Huni is the #1 challenger in the WBO. Don't ask me how we got to be in the WBO #1. Probably the same way Derek Chisora got to be the IBF #1. I don't know, but Justice Huni, look, a very, very good young up-and-coming fighter. I'm just not quite sure whether he's done enough to earn a shot at the WBO belt. But hey, you know, stranger things have happened. Just on the heavyweight division, it's funny because if Alexander Usyk retired tomorrow, these are the fights we would have to fill his, or to win his belt. We'd have Kubrat Pulev, who is the WBA interim champion, or regular champion, sorry. He'd fight Fabio Wardley. That'd be for the WBA. So there's the first yawn. The WBC would be Ajit Kabiel, who's the interim WBC champion, against Lawrence Okoli. There's another yawn. But the one that would definitely get the attention would be Joseph Parker, who's the interim champion, as I said, against Justice Huni. So some good fights out there. Or if Joseph Parker got a fight with someone else or retired, whatever it might have been, it would be Moses Otama and Justice Huni. So that would be the state of play in the heavyweight division. So you never know. You never know if we might see Parker and Huni down the track. I've got a feeling that Usyk will fight Dubois, and then we'll fight Joseph Parker after that. So who does Joseph Parker fight in the meantime? I don't know. Maybe I'd say it wouldn't have been someone too flush, but wouldn't have if he's got a guaranteed fight with Alexander Usyk after this. But you never know. But that looks like the state of play. It'll be Usyk and Dubois, and then Parker. There's actually talk that he'll fight on the undercard of that fight, and then the winner or the winners will fight probably early in 2026. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Good morning. How you doing? You too. Still with the Aussies. Now tonight, I think it's tonight. Yeah, it is tonight. We have a double world title fight in Melbourne with the females. Desley Robinson is going to fight Chloe Chaos. So that is for the WBO and IBF world middleweight titles in the females. So that's at the Melbourne Pavilion. I think Joel Camilleri is on the card. Victor Nagby's on the card. So if you want to watch that, it is being streamed now. One thing I'm just going to say, it's actually very warm, by the way, this morning. Just the lady that just passed me has just taken her hoodie off. It's supposed to be getting cool. It's been really cool the last few days. It's bloody sweltering this morning. Anyway, yeah, so I've got to say, they are testing the friendship, though. Sam LaBruna, or the Sam LaBruna fight night, because it's $39.99 to stream it. Geez, I really want to watch it. But geez, I don't normally complain about paying pay-per-view or money for pay-per-views, but $40 for a fight card with those fighters on it. I mean, hey, it's a great card. Not so sure it's worth $40, especially when the Fury and Usyk fight cost us, what, 30? So, you know, we complain about paying 70 for Tim Tszyu and Nikita Tszyu and everyone else. Geez, $40. Would you pay it? I'm not sure. I haven't made up my mind yet. You know, I don't like to, not support Australian boxing, but $40 for that show at the Melbourne Pavilion. Anyway, let me know what you will do. The jury's out for me. I'll make up my mind this tonight. If there's nothing on TV, I might get it. But as I said, $40 is certainly testing the friendship, I'll tell you. All right, onto the world scene. It looks like Sebastian Fundora and Xander Zayas is going to happen. They're in negotiations now. And I don't mind the fight. And I think it's a dangerous one for Sebastian Fundora. If I'm going to pick a winner now, I think Xander Zayas can get it done. I really do. I think he can beat Sebastian Fundora. I know we say that about all Fundora's opponents. We all think that Fundora is just all arms and legs and not overly skilled and all the rest of it, but he just keeps managing to win. So, look, it's a tough fight, but I think Zayas can win that one. And if he does win that one, it really shakes up the division, doesn't it? Because what happens then? Zayas would have 2 belts. And then is he targeted by someone like Tim Tszyu? I think Tim would have to still stand in line. A lot of other fighters in front of him, but I think it would really shake it up. And look, I'm not a massive fan of Zayas, but I think he's good enough to beat Sebastian Fundora. So that looks like it's going to take place. Well, it will take place later in the year. It's just a matter of when and where. I'd say it'll probably be Vegas again, or maybe even New York with the Puerto Rican following of Xander Zayas. So we will see. And the same, come here, man, promotional firms also had to meet over the weekend, or the last few days actually, to save the Keyshawn Davis and Edwin De Los Santos fight. That was on, then it was off, and now it's back on again. So that's Top Rank and Samson Boxing had to get together for that one, and now they're getting together to do the Zayas and Fundora fight. So I don't mind the fight for Fundora. A lot better than his last opponent, that Shordale Booker. I don't know where the hell they found that guy, but should not have been in the ring fighting for a world title. So, and probably got what was coming to him in the end. But I'm hoping that the fight does get done, because I think it's a good opportunity for Fundora to show us what he's got. But again, I think that Xander Zayas has enough to get over the top of Sebastian Fundora. Come on, man, let's go. And I actually think Xander Zayas would be a good opponent for Tim Tszyu if he gets past Thurman. I think he's very beatable. But a lot of water to go under the bridge yet, isn't there, with getting that fight done. Now, actually, I didn't say at the start too, by the way, before I go, on this day, and I didn't mention it yesterday because I just slipped through, but it was also Naoya Inoue's birthday. He turned 32 yesterday, so we'll call it a part of on this day anyway today. So happy birthday to Naoya Inoue, who will defend his world titles, in about a month's time or 3 weeks' time in Las Vegas, and one of the great champions. So, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. I know it's not overly exciting. That's just a little bit of a catch-up with what's happening in Aussie boxing. Actually, one more thing before I go. Moses Otama, that was the other one. His next fight has been announced, and when was that? It's against Mike Balogun for May 24. Not the most exciting opponent, but good to see Moses Otama back, especially if, as I said before, with the rankings and the way the belts and all that work, he's ranked number 2 by the WBO. So could we even see Huni and Otama? Who knows? We'll see. But guys, again, that is it for today. Have a great Friday. It's going to be a warm one. We'll catch you tomorrow.